Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Welcome to the temple and to Reproductive Rights Shabbat. It's a national Shabbat that is sponsored and initiated by the National Committee of Jewish Women, the NCJW. You can see their signs right here, and we're very proud to be the first congregation in Kentucky that joined that Shabbat 4 years ago when it's just started, and we're even more thrilled that this year all the 4 congregations in Louisville are commemorating this Shabbat, especially where there is such a need to mark this Shabbat. We begin our service as we sing together Maya Fe'ayom Shabbat Shalom. How beautiful the day is, it is Shabbat. To page 172 to sing together Matovu. As we turn to page 195 for the Berlow. אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, יוצר אור ובורא חושך, עושה שלום ובורא את הכל, המאיר לארץ ולדרים עליה ברחמים, ובטובו מחדש בכל יום תמיד מעשה וראשית. מה רבו מעשיך אדוני, כולם בחוכמה עשית, מלאה הארץ קנייניך. תתברך אדוני אלוהינו, על שבח מעשה ידיך, ועל מאורי אור שעשית יפארוך הסלע. אור חדש על ציון תאיר, ונזכה כולנו מהרה לאורו. ברוך אתה אדוני, יוצר המאורות. And we read together on page 196. The world is sunlight, restoring the soul, rejoicing the heart, bringing light to the eyes, more welcome than gold, a Torah from heaven. I have no light to give the morning. My Torah, my special human gift, is words. As I bring my words forth from silence, welcome them, you who redeems the sun from darkness. Baruch Ata Adonai, Yotzer HaMeorot. And we turn to page 200 for the calling of the Shema. Please be seated. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם, בשבתך בביתך, ובלכתך בדרך, ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם. We turn now to page 204 to sing together מי כמוך. Turn now to page 205 as we rise for the tefillah. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו ואלוהי אבותינו ואימותינו, אלוהי אברהם, אלוהי יצחק ואלוהי יעקב, אלוהי שרה, אלוהי רבקה, אלוהי רחל ואלוהי לאה, האל הגדול, הגיבור והנורא, אל עליון, גומל חסדים טובים וקונה הכל, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם למען שמו באהבה. מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה. Please join me as we read together at the bottom of page 207. You are the open door that beckons me in. Peeking around the door frame, I begin to enter into your glory. You move me forward, O Eternal, to step beyond self-made boundaries. Lift my foot over the threshold that I might abide with you. In the house of the Eternal, I found my questions waiting to be posed. They filled me with wonder. Sit with me, eternal teacher. Encourage my seeking. As I fill my hours with your mitzvot, so shall I be filled. Send me through your door, stretching up to honor your name, sharing out this wonder, enriching myself in the given. Blessed are you, Adonai, who gives life to all. Baruch ata Adonai, mechaye hakol. To all generations we will make known your greatness, and to all eternity proclaim your holiness. Your praise, O God, shall never depart from our lips. Blessed are you, Adonai, the holy God. Baruch ata Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh. Please be seated.
Shabbat.
now to page 216 for the prayer for shalom, for peace and wellness and wholeness. O God, may we never become complacent, faltering in our effort to build a world of peace. Let the nations know and understand that justice and right are better than dominion and conquest. May all come to see that it is not by might nor by power, but by your Spirit that life prevails. Praised are you, Adonai, who blesses your people Israel with peace. Baruch atah Adonai, hamvarech et amo Yisrael b'shalom. Take a moment for a silent prayer. Turn now to page 253 for the Misha Berach, the prayer for healing and courage and strength, as we name in our hearts those whom we know that need courage and healing and strength. We sing together. We turn now to Seder Kriyat HaTorah LeShabbat, the order of reading from the Torah on Shabbat on page 244. Please rise.
Adonai,
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Hear, O Israel, Adonai is our God, Adonai is one. Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh Shemo. Our God is one, Adonai is great, holy is God's name.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh Shema. Lecha Adonai Agedula, B'Yagivru.
Reading from the Torah. Our Torah portion is from the book of Exodus. It's called Mishpatim, meaning laws. That's the legal system. And the reason that this Torah portion is called Mishpatim is because that it's referred to as the scroll of the covenant, Sefer HaBrit. That means that those are laws that are fundamental laws to understand that the Jewish, what we call Jewish law or Jewish halacha, that the mitzvot, the commandments that we are supposed to live by. This is obviously not something that the Torah would use or the Bible would use, but the only example I can think it's kind of like the Constitution versus a regular law. Those are more bigger law, more important laws because they actually are supposed to show us and inspire us to what norms of life we should live by, as any good legal system is one of the laws here, and that's the reason that reproductive Shabbat is always on this Shabbat, on Shabbat Mishpatim. One of the laws has to do what happens if there's an accident and a woman that is pregnant is hurt and she loses her child, her fetus, the unborn fetus, and because of the way that it's phrased, it's clear that that is not considered a human life. And from that moment onward till modern rabbinical responsa, Jewish law has defined life, and Jewish faith has defined life as beginning at birth, whereas the biggest Torah commentary there is, Rashi is saying that life begins when the head is out of the womb. That means that life doesn't begin in conception, I'm pronouncing it correctly, but at birth. We're going to read a different part of the Torah portion, a part that speaks about something that I think that our distinguished lawyer and friend and temple member Aaron Kemper is going to speak about, that is beyond this lawsuit that is going to be mentioned and behind the whole battle for reproductive rights, and that is the attempt of the Torah to strongly defend those that need most to be defended. And since the society doesn't defend them well enough, we need God to come in and make a statement. So we'll see that as we're reading from the book of Exodus, beginning in chapter 22, verse 20. But first we're going to say this.
Baruch hu et Adonai hamborach. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam אשר בחר בנו מכל העמים, ונתן לנו את תורתו. ברוך אתה אדוני, נותן התורה. אמן.
וגר לא תונה ולא תלחצנו, כי גרים הייתם בארץ מצרים. כל אלמנה ויתום לא תענון, עמנו תענה אותו, כי אמצאו כי יצעק אליי, שמוע אשמע צעקתו, וחרה אפי והרגתי אתכם בחרב, והיו נשיכם אלמנות ובניכם יתומים. אם כסף תלווה את עמי, את העני עמך לא תהיה לו כנושה, לא תשימון עליו נשך. אם חבול תחבל שמלת רעך עד בוא השמש תשיבנו לו, כי הוא כסותה לבדה היא, שמלתו לאורה, במה ישכב, והיה כי יצעק אליי ושמעתי כי חנון אני. And the translation is, you shall not wrong nor oppress a stranger, for you are strangers in the land of Egypt. You shall not ill-treat any widow or orphan. If you do mistreat them, I will heed their outcry as soon as they cry out to me, and my anger shall blaze forth, and I will put you to the sword, and your own wives shall become widows, and your own children orphans. If you lend money to my people, to the poor among you, do not act toward them as a creditor. Exact no interest from them. If you take your neighbor's garment in pledge, you must return it before the sun sets. It is the only available clothing. It is what covers the skin. In what else shall your neighbor sleep? Therefore, if that person cries out to me, I will pay heed, for I am compassionate. Clearly there is a need to protect the weaker parts of society, and this is why God is so strong about that. It's an honor and a pleasure to welcome our guest speaker, Kemper, who is a temple member that we're extremely proud of, one of the lawyers in a case seeking to block Kentucky's abortion restrictions based on the Jewish faith and Kentucky's Religious Freedom Restoration Act. Thank you, Aaron, for being here.
Yes, I'd like to thank the temple for hosting us today and tell you a little bit about our lawsuit. So, last summer, after Roe vs. Wade was overturned, my friend Lisa Sobel, who I grew up with here at the temple, we went to religious school together and Hebrew school together, she asked me, what are my rights now under Kentucky law? Because I need in vitro fertilization to have more children. Lisa had a very public in vitro fertilization journey where she raised a lot of money to have a child. She raised a lot of that money through the Jewish community in Louisville. And unfortunately, I had to tell her it's not clear what is allowed under IVF, under the current laws. Lisa introduced me to Jessica Cobb, who is with me over here today, who's one of the plaintiffs in our lawsuit. Jessica is a well-regarded, respected employee here at the temple. And Jessica told me about her journey through IVF, and she's going to tell you today the same thing that she told me. And after you hear her journey and what it took for her to have a child, you will understand how my partner Ben Potash and I, we had no choice but to file this lawsuit against the Attorney General of Kentucky. So, Jessica.
Hey everyone. So my name's Jessica. I am a Jewish mom. I'm 33 years old and I'm a member of the temple. I'm not going to speak to you today about Jewish law. The rabbi can handle those questions. I'm not going to speak to you today about state law. Aaron can handle those questions. I'm just going to tell you what it's like to be a mom in the state of Kentucky right now in the situation that I'm in. So let's start way back about a decade ago. I knew I wanted to be a mom as soon as I met my husband. We knew so badly that we wanted to have children that for our wedding present, he gave me this tiny fiddle and promised to teach our kids to play, which he has since done. I have a 2-year-old, trust me, she can play the fiddle. And that experience of wanting to become a mother meant so much to us as we moved into our marriage in 2014. But we were pretty devastated. We realized within that first year that we were facing infertility. From 2014 to 2018, I went to my general practitioner, my family doctor, to talk to them about it, because infertility isn't a straight street for anyone who goes through it. I went through my GP, I went through my OBGYN, we went to an endocrinologist, and finally in 2018, we had saved enough money and had enough courage to go to a private fertility clinic. We realized that we needed a lot of help. So I had to go through IVF, and you've heard Lisa's story, and here's mine. IVF took me 623 injections, 623 shots, every single one lovingly administered by my husband. Then you go under a procedure where the eggs that you have produced through all of these injections are surgically removed from your body. And then you wait. You give that over to science, you give that over to your faith, and you kind of wait. The waiting for us took 22 eggs that came out of my body, fertilized by my husband in a lab, and then your numbers start to decrease. So by the end of our IVF journey, when we were done with fertilization, we had 10 healthy embryos, which was such a success. It was huge. I called all of my friends. One of those embryos became my daughter in 2020. We transferred in 2019 and she was born in 2020, leaving us 9 healthy embryos left. In 2020, those 9 healthy embryos felt like a huge blessing. When you go through IVF, you kind of live in the land of statistics, so I'm going to throw some information at you. IVF has about a 40% success rate. So 9 embryos meant we could have more than one child. When Roe was overturned last summer, that blessing became really, really scary. Because knowing my medical history, knowing what I've gone through, I know that there is a good chance, about 5 times more likely than a woman who naturally gets pregnant, that I will need more medical assistance during my pregnancy than someone else might. There's a phrase you learn when you're going through IVF that is a heartbreaking phrase, but it's what I'm going to introduce everyone in this room to, and that phrase is incompatible with life. We know through the miracle that is IVF, it has to be a miracle because it brought me my daughter. We know through this miracle that IVF is capable of supporting pregnancies where they would otherwise not be successful, where there would otherwise be a loss of life. Unfortunately, sometimes that miraculous scientific support that we're given also encourages pregnancies that are ultimately incompatible with life, which means there's a chance, a better than average chance, that I could get pregnant through one of my embryos. Further into my pregnancy than Kentucky would allow, I would find out that that child would never come home with me. Those pregnancies are deemed incompatible with life. In the state of Kentucky right now, for as long as that fetus has a heartbeat, I can't terminate that pregnancy legally. So if I find myself in a situation, which is likely with my current medical history, where I'm excited to be a mom and I go into that doctor's appointment and the doctor says, I'm so sorry, but this child is not going to come home with you. There's no recourse for me in the state of Kentucky right now. And I want the moms and the dads and the grandparents in that room to imagine that heartbreak for a second, because that's the reality for women going through infertility treatment. And then I want you to imagine the compound heartbreak of the doctor then turning to you and saying, you're gonna have to go through the next 6 months of this pregnancy. You're gonna have to watch your body change with all of your hopes and wishes to become a mom. You're gonna have to deal with the questions of your family and go through all of that, all the way to complete this birth, knowing that you're gonna come home with empty arms. That's the heartbreak facing women in Kentucky right now, because there's no recourse for us. And I can't imagine how I would explain that situation to my 2-year-old daughter when she sees mom's body changing, when she knows we're wanting a sibling. So in all of infertility, what we're stuck asking ourselves is, how far are we willing to go to expand our family? Roe changed that calculation because now that that access to care isn't there for women like me, there's too much risk to expand our family. So now I'm stuck in limbo. The laws in Kentucky are vague. They don't tell us exactly what is legal and what is not legal. We know the risks if I become pregnant. So now what do I do with these 9 embryos that I was so excited about? We don't know, because it's possible that in Kentucky, destroying those 9 embryos would be me destroying 9 people, because that's how it's defined. So I'm now stuck as someone who desperately wants to have a family, receiving a bill every month for my cryo storage of my 9 embryos, and receiving that grief in my mailbox every month, knowing that I can't move forward safely in this state, and I can't move on from this grief because there's no way for me to step away. So that's why I'm here. That's why I'm fighting for this. I found myself in a really unique situation, friends with Lisa, who's an amazing connector of people, and brought Aaron and Ben into my life. But I'm here to fight for women who are going to find themselves in that situation I just outlined. There are women in our state that are going to find their lives wrecked because of these laws. Not just women who don't want to be mothers, whose rights should also be protected, but women who do so desperately want to be moms. So it feels weird to say that I'm someone who very much wants to expand my family, and I'm fighting so hard for abortion access. But I think there's a lot around abortion access that people don't understand how critical that care is to actually becoming a mother. So with that, I'll turn it back over to Aaron to talk a little bit more about the law that I can't make heads or tails of, but
Yes, and I have been practicing law for 12 years, and I can't make heads or tails of it either. That's the basis of our lawsuit. So, to reiterate, right now, Kentucky defines the moment of fertilization when a sperm and egg meet as a human being. Kentucky also has what's called a fetal homicide law that says it's a capital offense to terminate a fertilized egg. That creates many questions and problems, as you can understand, for Jessica, who has 9 fertilized embryos. Jessica is a very proud Jewish mother in her 30s, but she does not plan on having 9 more children, nor does she really have the time. So she is in limbo, and she's scared that she could be prosecuted for capital murder for discarding these embryos. And as she mentioned a little bit, other problems with this law is there is no exception for genetic anomalies, no exceptions at all. So during a genetic screen, if one of our clients or any mother in Kentucky finds out that, for example, the fetus has no brain or no lungs, but there is a heartbeat, you cannot terminate that pregnancy. That mother is going to be forced to carry that non-viable fetus to term. And this is incredibly cruel, and it's an assault on all women across the Commonwealth, regardless of their race, religion, or creed. But for Jessica and my 2 other plaintiffs, this violates their core beliefs and our traditions and values as Jewish mothers and as Jewish people. You know, Rabbi David talked a little bit about the laws and commandments, and Judaism has a commandment to be fruitful and multiply, and having children is a blessing. But for Jessica, that's being taken away. Her ability to expand her family has been restricted. And Judaism has never defined life as beginning at conception. Rabbi David told you that. Similarly, Judaism has a concept of pakuach nefesh, the preservation of life. And this means that in Jewish law, a mother's health comes first. Her life is valued over the life of an unborn fetus. And this includes mental health. Well, Kentucky allows no exception for mental health. The law actually explicitly says there is no exception for mental health. That is stated in plain language. Thus, there is no exception for rape or incest. The only exception to terminate a pregnancy under Kentucky law is if the mother is facing imminent death, which of course raises the question, what is imminent death? and nobody really knows. So the fear is that doctors are going to have to consult their legal team in the hospital if there's a complication to determine if a mother is facing imminent death enough to terminate the pregnancy. Kentucky already has one of the highest pregnancy mortality rates in the country, and these laws are not going to improve that statistic. I want to mention that on Thursday, there was a setback for reproductive health in Kentucky. If you all saw the news story where the ACLU lost their case, which was to reopen Kentucky's only abortion clinic. They ruled against, so abortion is illegal in Kentucky. There are no abortion clinics currently. People have been asking, how does that affect our lawsuit? Our lawsuit's very different. Their lawsuit, one of the reasons they lost was something called standing, as the court said that the abortion clinic doesn't have an injury, only their patients. While I don't agree with that ruling, we're representing individual mothers. You heard from one of them today, Jessica. So, we're hoping for a different outcome, but it just shows that we really have to fight, and this is going to be a very long fight in multiple appellate courts and for a long time. There are 3 plaintiffs in our lawsuit, and our plaintiffs and our clients, they're speaking across the different synagogues today. Lisa is speaking at Knesset Israel. Sarah Barron, Lisa Sobel that is. Sarah Barron is speaking at Adesnik, and you heard from Jessica Cobb here today at the temple. We're very grateful and proud of the support we've received from the Jewish community, and we're going to continue to need that support going forward, because for our clients, their faith, their religious beliefs, it's guided them through their reproductive health journey, and they want to have more children, but they're hesitant, they're scared to have more children in the Commonwealth of Kentucky because their health is not protected. Their religious beliefs are violated, and that's the basis of our lawsuit, that Kentucky's laws violate our religious beliefs. And in lieu of the facts of Thursday, on a personal note with our clients, is that they're also aware that being mothers in their 30s, there is a chance that by the time this lawsuit ever rules in our favor, that it will be too late for them to expand their families and have more children. But interestingly, all of the plaintiffs have daughters. There are 5 daughters among the 3 plaintiffs. Myself, I have 2 daughters. They are in the back here in the synagogue, the ones you see. So this is very personal to all of us, to all of them. We're fighting for them. We're fighting for, our children and the future of this Jewish community in this state. This synagogue was founded more than 160 years ago in the Commonwealth of Kentucky, and we don't plan on closing and moving or leaving anytime soon. This is our community, this is our state, and we're going to fight for as long as it takes. Thanks.
Thank you, Jessica. Thank you, Aaron, for a wonderful presentation. And we're all hoping and praying that the outcome will be much better than the outcome we saw Thursday with the ACLU standing at the Supreme Court. So good luck. Louie Adonai Adonai our God, fight for justice and for defending. Hopefully the words of the Torah, that God hears the outcry, and those who cry because injustice has been done, and will be heard here and also heard by the ears of the Supreme Court judges. We turn back to page 250 for the blessing after the Torah. Please rise.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torat emet, v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai, noten haTorah, Amen. וזאת התורה שעשה משה לפני בני ישראל. וזאת התורה אשר עשה משה לפני בני ישראל. על פי אדוני ביד משה, ביד משה. על פי אדוני ביד משה, ביד משה. זאת התורה אשר עשה משה לפני בני ישראל. וזאת התורה אשר עשה משה לפני בני ישראל.
And we turn now to page 283 to read together in the middle of the page the Aleinu. Please join me. Let us adore the ever-living God and render praise unto you, who spreads out the heavens and established the earth, whose glory is revealed in the heavens above, and whose greatness is manifest throughout the world. You are our God, there is none else. Our thoughts turn to those who have departed this earth, our own loved ones, those whom our friends and neighbors have lost, the martyrs of our people whose graves are unmarked, and those of every race and nation whose lives have been a blessing to humanity. As we remember them, we meditate on the meaning of love and loss, of life and death. In this Shabbat, we remember especially Jose Maza, Henry Berg Rousseau, William Benovitz, Armand Essing, Carol Fink, Harriet Jean Winner, Charles Droutman, Melanie Lederman, Nathan Levine, Evelyn Van Damme, David Boss, Philip Cochran, Ilma Hirsch, Ruth Shapiro, Deborah M. Ehrman, Herbert Levine, Terry Lasson, Minx Auerbach, David Davis, Florence Schenkin, Harry Ziegert, Sophie Friedman, Dr. Herbert S. Waller, Francis Wolfson, and in recent days, Alan Zukov. We think of our loved ones, whom death has recently taken from us, those who died at this season in years past, and those whom we have drawn into our hearts with our own. With the blessed memories from our loved ones in our hearts, we rise as we turn to page 294 for the Mourner's Kaddish. יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, בעלמא דברה חירותי וימליך מלכותי, בחייכון וביומכון, ובחיי דכל בית ישראל, בעגלה ובזמן קריב, ואמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מברך לעלם ולעולמי עולמיה, יתברך וישתבח ויתבאר ויתרומם ויתנשא, ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתעלה על שמי דקודשה בריחו. העלה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, דאמירן בעלמה ואמרו אמן. יהא שלמה רבה מן שמיה, וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו אמן. זיכרונם לברכה, may the memory of our loved ones come to be a blessing and a benediction. Amen. Our closing song is עושה שלום. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Thank you, Jess. Thank you, Aaron. And good luck. And please say Shabbat Shalom to someone you never met before. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat shalom.